Welcome back to the channel. This is Roberto with Full Crow Precision again. Uh, just as an update of the prototype and everything else we're working on, the cartridge. Um, yeah, we were able to see where we made some mistakes as far as our overall design, um, and adjust them. What we'd had designed worked in a sense, but it created an issue where in order for the brass to fire form, it was expanding too much. Uh, so what we did was we decided to keep the neck the same length as a standard 270, and it benefits it because um, instead of shortening the neck, like a lot of others, they call it the Creedmoor effect, where you basically shorten the overall case. There was no benefit to that, and I'll explain why. Not in this instance. By keeping the neck, it accomplished two things. One, you could seat a longer bullet and have it seat into there pretty well and have it stabilized and firm. And the other is it allowed you to still have a wider variety of bullets. Now, I ended up seating a 110 grain bullet in this with the modified lands, and it barely fit, but it did. So the cool part about it, in going back over this now, and it's beneficial. Whereas before I was building it from 136 grain and up, this allows me to go from 110 grain and up. So all of the good 130 grain bullets, 140 grain bullets that you're used to having, those are all going to be maintained in it. This is going to end up being a much better cartridge overall. And I just did a video where I compared it because I inserted that data into my GRT, my Gordon's reloading tool, and you need to go check out the long video. It's about 20 minutes long, but I promise it's worth it when you start getting to see all the data. Um, I had a really, really good conversation. His name is David Kiff of Pacific Tool and Gauge, and I had him do my stuff before. He's recommended to me for my gunsmith, and I got a chance to have a good conversation with him, and he had some really encouraging things to say about the project I'm working on, and gave some really good pointers. He's been doing machining on this type of stuff for a long, long time. And like I said before, I know I'm not infallible, so I'm going to make mistakes. At the same time, I'm also not too proud to accept good advice from people who are actually looking out for my best interests. And so he gave some really good pointers on how to adjust things, and he's working on them as we speak. Now, obviously not right now because it's late. But the nice part about it is it's not going to be an insane adjustment to be able to make it work. I'll still be able to reuse the barrel I have. It'll be a little shorter than what I was anticipating, but that's okay. This is just for proof of concept. That's all it is. It's a prototype rifle. I probably will at some point rebarrel it, but not right now. And so when I was going over it, I took my regular rifle, which is my Bergara B14 Ridge, and it's been allowing me to seed out other bullets a little further. So I was like, okay, let me try something. So using the my reloading die that I already have set for the 27 Ibex, I ended up putting the that into my press, and I did a variety, and I took a 165 grain Accubon long range, and I wanted to see if it would fit in there. And mind you, I did that inside of a standard 270. And so when I did, it actually seated just fine, and it fed right into the rifle just fine. So it leads me to believe that I can take that rifle without having to modify the stock or change the trigger or anything, just rebarrel it. And for not a lot of money, I can have another custom setup, and I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Um, I will be going to 24-inch barrels. Okay, I'm going to go to a 24-inch barrel on the Bergara. And I think I'm going to take your guys' advice and probably go to a 26 on the custom. So yeah, that's the plan. Try some different things. But as a whole, yeah, this is coming along, and I'm glad we're doing this. The gunsmith is excited about it. I'm excited about it. Even Dave Kiff is excited about this. He's like, man, this is an awesome idea. He goes, I don't understand why this is not more popular, or why hasn't someone else thought about this. So, I mean, he should know he's doing the tooling for a lot of different companies. So, you're on the right track when you're getting a tooling guy excited about what you're working on. And yeah, that's what I'm working with, and I do indeed plan on getting this to market. Now, there's only so much data I can share on on here, because at some point I have to be able to protect my interest. The plan is to patent, but that's not going to happen until I get my proof of concept just perfect. The gun will be ready, I'm sure, sometime here in well before season. So I'm gonna have time, the chance to load develop. But in the so far in messing with the Gordon's reloading tool, and let me turn this around here a second. Actually, yeah. If I do that, pull this up. Once this get this up and running, there we go. Hold on. There we go. So going over it, here's what's interesting. So I got a couple bullets here. Here's the 170 grain Bergers, EOLs. I have a really high BC. Here you go. You got .662. Yeah. And, going through, being able to put, and mind you, this is right at it, but, you're talking 2896 feet per second. So, and mind you, this is based upon sea level. Yeah, this is right at sea level with a standard 6 groove barrel. So let me peel this back to something a little bit more realistic. Let's go to 60 grains. So more realistic operation, here you go. It's a little closer to 62,000 PSI, because you're not going to be trying to push it ultra hard. But here's the thing, you're still getting 2860. That's really good. Whereas that's about average for the 280 Ackley with a 160 grain bullet. So this is actually considerably better than even the 280 Ackley, because you're going to be able to push heavier bullets a little better, and it has to do with how you seat the bullet out. And because this is seated out to here, 3.5255. And so by seating it out further, you're able to utilize your space better. If I switch this over again, and here we go, we're going to do this here. And let's say I go down to, where'd it go? Let's say I go down to Nosler. Okay. Here's a common bullet, a 140 grain AccuBond. Now this will fit in it, so I'll accept that. And if I switch that to, let's say, something like an H4831. Let's put in some numbers here. I can go with 64 grains. So using H4831, and if you go to a 4831 SC, it's going to be a little bit better than this. But here you go. You can push that easily 3076. Easily. And, that's just that powder. If we switch over to something like a Vita Vori N560, go to 65. Okay, so still under the 65,000 PSI. There you go, 63.2. 3141 feet per second with a 140 grain AccuBond. That's moving. That's moving. And here's the thing. That's a pretty good BC. If you look at that, 0.496 is a really good BC. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's for hunting application, that's phenomenal. And so if I take that and I go over here, pull into here, again, I like to use Federal's ballistic app here. So we're going to go like this, 140, and then get rid of that, 3141. You know, 496. And we're going to do this just out to, we're going to go realistic. We're not going super far with this. So we're going to go 600 yards. And we're going to do increments of 100. And again, see, altitude 0, so sea level, right? And 200 yards, 0. Calculate. So if we do that, look how flat shooting this is. At 500 yards, it's only 33 inches a drop. That's not much. And you're still over 2,200 feet per second and over 1,500 foot-pounds. Even at 600 yards, it's borderline, but you could still kill an elk with that. That's a phenomenal trajectory. 400 yards, only 16.4 inches a drop. So, this has a really good potential to do a lot for game, whether you're hunting, pronghorn or hunting whitetails or mule deer or elk, even moose. It just has it there. And, same thing if you're really looking to have something that's versatile, this is going to be it. It's really good. It's really flat shooting. And that's not much for wind drift. That's with the 10 mile, by the way, that's with a 10 mile an hour wind. That's a pretty stiff, consistent cross breeze. This is at full value. You're only talking 9.7 inches of drift. That's not a lot. That's easy to calculate for. That's even just a basic holdover. And that's plenty of velocity there. Even like at 400 yards, you're a shade under 2,400 feet per second. That's really good. And that's right up there with, and at that velocity of 3141, you're right up there with, 270 WSM very easily. But it's going to be less expensive. You can make your own brass. And in addition, it's going to actually hold the extra cartridge. It doesn't take a whole lot to do this. This is a much better cartridge design than than you may initially think. You know, if we go back again to here, and we pull up, let's pull up a different bullet. You know, for the guys who are Hornady fans, as much as I'm not a Hornady fan, here we go. We'll pull up the 145 grain ELDX. Again, not my favorite, but whatever. You know, here we go. 145 grain ELDX. Let's adjust this a little bit, and we're going to give it 64.5. We'll just go 64. No, 64.5. You're getting 3105 feet per second. So you're, and here's the thing, if you go and look up the 270 WSM, that's the velocities it's oftentimes advertises, is about 3,100 feet per second with the 145 grain ELDX. It's right there. And you know, here's the thing, that may not necessarily be the right powder. Let's try something else here. Let's go to Ramshot Big Game. Nope, that's not it. That's not the one I want. Let's try Ramshot Magnum. There we go. Let's go to 66. Almost there. 67. Close. Yeah, we're going to actually stick with the 67. There you go. 3112. So with, and here's the thing, look at the pressure difference. Here we go. You're still under 63,000 PSI, and you're at 3112 feet per second with that bullet right there. And you got 0.485. So if we take that, and again, go into, there we go. So we're going to do a 145. We're going to do 0.485, which actually, that doesn't seem right. Hold on. Let's do this. 45 ELDX 270 BC. See what it comes up with. Go. Yes. Looking for the specs. Are they going to list the specs? There we go. 0.536. So if I go back over here, there we go. Get rid of that. .536. Same parameters. For you guys who are big Hornady fans and like the 145 grain ELDX, there you go. Nope, I made a mistake. Hold on, not 3141, 3112. So yeah, you can still have a very flat trajectory with it. Here you go. Instead of 33.4 inches of drop at 500 yards, you got 33.1 inches of drop. So yeah, there's plenty of potential here for having this be a really good cartridge. I believe in it. If I didn't, I wouldn't be putting this much effort into it. And I'm passionate about it because I've done the research. This has all the makings to be a really good cartridge, an affordable one, and be hard hitting on game. Also to be a fun long range target cartridge, which, by the way, Dave Kiff, he's like, man, I'd like to see what this thing can do at a mile. So, yeah, he's been really encouraging. He actually told me I need to take this thing and go competitive shooting with it. Because he's like, I think we can get this thing to consistently shoot under a 1/4 inch. His words, not mine. So, yeah, I'm happy about this. I'm excited. Again, for the people who have liked and subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. Again, I'm trying to get this out there, trying to create a really good, high quality product that y'all can use and afford to have, and one that really makes a big difference. Again, thank you for all that you do, and we'll talk to you again.